Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to No Man's Land with your old friend Tuplex. Hey, no DSP this time. How you guys doing today? Hope you're all having a great weekend so far. Oh man, I'm doing well. Today we're gonna get a harvest going with 2 harvesters, which is gonna be really fun. We got the old trusty number 1 that we've been using for a while, and we got the number 2 that we just bought and has yet to be put into action. Also, since the last episode, I started working on the corn forage harvest here. As you can see, I decided just to... Oh, and I bought the crone... I brought the crone forage trailer. It was on sale in the shop. So I replaced the... What was the one I had before? The Stroutman. Replace that with this one. So I decided just to pull the trailer behind the harvester. That would make things a bit easier for single player. So I started filling that in over here in the silage bunker, as I will show you here in a sec. Alright, so we got, I think this is like 3 loads so far. So we have about 170,000, and I've been compacting it as I go with the whatever you call this thing. I don't know what you would call it. But that's going pretty well. One thing I noticed with our new cow barn is that I don't know if you remember, I took some time to do some landscaping inside the fence, and whenever I reload the game, it just covers everything with grass again, with short grass. That was the same issue I was having with the silo, if you remember. So I checked, I loaded up the XML from the mod, and basically there's a couple commands in there that put that foliage there, or there's one command that puts that foliage there when you plant, or when you first place it. And apparently that same part of the script or not the script, but that same part of the XML just executes every time the game loads. So whatever landscaping I put inside that area gets overwritten with short grass. Even some of the terrain painting that I did is covered up now. So, I'm not sure if there's a way to make the mods so that it doesn't do that every time. Or that it does it none of the time. I guess you could just take out that foliage part and it'll just leave it, and then you can landscape it yourself. But anyway, not sure if anybody's really interested in that or not. I also installed a mod called, what is it called? Vehicle Park, I think it's called. Vehicle Parking or whatever. With that, you can put certain vehicles in parking mode. I don't know if you can see down here. There's a little icon. I know it's kind of small, but if you hit Control T, you can turn that on and off. Right, so when you put it in parking mode, it won't go to that vehicle when you're tabbing through. So that way I can keep my active vehicles unparked, and then stuff that I don't use very often, like the logging machine and so forth, right, it doesn't tab through. So that'll make it quicker to go through the vehicles and find the one that we're interested in. So speaking of that, let's get this harvest going. First things first, we'll need to get the headers put on. So let's figure out a good place to put these header trailers. I don't know. Maybe we can just leave them here. Here, I'll do this. I'll put this one right here. And we'll get that connected. Move out of the way. And then we'll go to the other one. Yeah, and this one I think I'll actually just leave where it is. $340K, that's pretty big yield. That'll keep a bakery running all year, that's for sure. Okay, now let's make a course. All right. So field position, we select this field. Target position, let's say up here. All right, so work with 15.6. I'm going to do 2 headlands. Smooth, clockwise, 7%, all that stuff is fine, I think. The field center, we're going to do lands. And I'll just do 4 rows per land since they're going to be twice as wide. And then I'm going to reduce the field margin to about 0.6. That'll get off the edge of the field a little bit. Oh yeah, and multiple tools, we set to 2. So let's see how this works out. All right. It looks like a mess, but it should work. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that. And that is CP6. We'll call that Harvest 2. So we know that that's for 2 machines. Okay. And so we'll have number 2 do the left side, and we'll have, whoops. And we'll have number 1 do the right side. Okay, so I'll just cut in here and get up to the start point. Oh man, sorry to hear that, Willie. Hope they're all right. Okay. And then we get number 1 lined up. Oh, I have to load the course. All right. Clear the current course, and then let's load that one. Okay, there we go. Probably should have placed this one first. There. Okay. So now we just make sure that this one is set to the left side. And we can go. And then this one we set to the right side. And he can go. Alright, just like we did with the cotton harvesters. Okay, and we're in business. So, next we need to get our auger wagon out there. So we'll use the 9RX for that. Yeah, we should get through that field pretty quick with both of these harvesters going. Which is good because we got some other fields to harvest as well. Well, plus we got to finish doing the corn. So it'll be a busy day here in August. Well, the one on the left is going to finish first. Oh, I also bought that little fun thing. We'll mess around with that later. Oh, yeah, it's tough to pass up a 61% off tractor. But yeah, if you're color sensitive. I think the next map I play on is going to be New Holland. I really like the New Holland stuff. You get a farm set up with a T6, a T7, a T8, and a T9, and you can do just about anything you want. Now with two harvesters running, collecting the grain is a little bit busier, obviously. So we'll have to... Oh, they didn't get very far yet. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so let me go out there. And usually what I do when I've done this before is I'll collect from the lead harvester first, and then fall back and collect from the one behind after that. So that the one in the lead doesn't stop. Because usually that one will be slightly more full. I guess it doesn't really matter which order you do them in. I do want them to keep together. So one thing I should have used a little bit more... a little bit more field margin. We're just barely missing the edge of the field here. Which actually I don't understand. Why is it missing the edge of the field? It should be at least on the edge of the field, if not over it a little bit. Strange. Alright, so I'll just do them in order, I guess. We'll do this one first. Yeah, so I guess if you empty the one in back first, then at least that way if the one in front fills up, the one in back will never pass it, so they'll stay together that way. Oh, you know what? I wonder if the width was a little... I wonder if I had the width set a little too high. I think it was 15.6. And then the one in front is stopping. Why? Why are you stopped? I wonder if he's hit an obstacle like we saw in the other field. Yeah, no, it was only about 80% full. So, I mean, I'll just take advantage of the fact that it stopped to empty it, but I'm really not sure why this is happening. Yeah, these John Deeres, man. Yeah, maybe we can even mark out the triangle. We got that spot on the other field, and now this spot. If we find a third one, then that'll define the triangle. All right. Hold up, son. Okay, now it's going. Weird. No, we didn't have that issue before. I wonder if it's... maybe it's the header. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but there's, you know, there's that Lizard Durus 50-foot header. There's a mod for that. I tried that before and I couldn't use it because I was having that problem where it was getting stuck on the ground. I wonder if these John Deere headers are based on the same model as that one. Yeah. And like, why isn't it hitting the edge of the field? That's what I'm interested in here. Let's 15.2. Yeah, and I think when I created my course, it was like 15.6. Well, I hope I didn't set it too wide because then I'll have little missed bits all over the field. I mean, I just took whatever the default was, so. But yeah, this is not very satisfying to see, right? Yeah, it hasn't happened before last stream. Maybe it's a course play thing. Do you think that's it, Willie? Let's check here. Because over here, it happened... Actually, it happened in two spots here. One was around here, and the other was around here. And there aren't any trees in the way there. So, it's a mystery. Wow, Alex, that is surprising. Yeah, don't give us such a shock like that. Alright, so I'll continue working on working on this field while the harvesters are going, and then when I see them get around 70 or 80%, then I'll go and unload them. I really like those quad tracks. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that map. Hey, I don't. Have you guys seen the video for Rorris Valley? That's a map from Realistic Modding. That one, it's kind of a no man's land style map where there's no predefined fields or anything. There's a lot of logging you can do on the map. It's not available on console. It's a PC only map. I think it's a 4X. Now there's a Rorris, what is it? Rorris Forest, I think, was released recently. That one's on Mod Hub, but this is called Rorris Valley. I'm not sure if it's the same map that they just modified or if it's a completely different map, but anyway, it looks pretty fantastic. Let me get you guys a link. In fact, maybe I can even show it to you later on. One second here. You have to get it from Realistic Gaming Crew. The Discord. Let's see if it'll let me do this. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There's a link to the map. One of the YouTubers, one of the other streamers did a review of it. I think it might have been Farm Sim Guy. In fact, I think Farm Sim Guy started to do some gameplay on it. But it's really cool. And to be honest, I'm like, I was talking to some of the guys in Discord. I'm like, I'm having a hard time getting into any map that starts off with farms already built, you know? After playing No Man's Land for so long, it's like it kind of ruined me for that sort of thing. Exotic 814, thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. Yeah, so I think when we're done on this map, I'm gonna try to find another one, I think, of a similar style, or at least another, maybe not a map where you necessarily have to create all the fields, but at least a map where we can build our own farm from scratch. You know, and I know you can do that on pretty much any map, but you know, some maps are really designed for it, and some maps are just, you know, you just have to buy a field and cut a corner out of it. You know, that's not the kind of thing that I'm impressed by. Alright, let's fold up the header, and then we'll go dump this in the silo, and it looks like my harvesters have stopped. Ay, ay, ay. What is going on? Hopefully this doesn't continue once we get past the edge of the field. But yeah, there appears to be bits of terrain that are just making it stop for some reason. I can't tell if it's a terrain issue or a courseplay issue. You know what? I think it must be a courseplay issue because I can drive over it myself with no problem. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a courseplay issue. So I'll report that to the courseplay guys when we're done here. I'll send them a clip. Yeah, and Alex, you're right. We've done this field with courseplay with this harvester actually, and we never had the problem before. So yeah, so it must be something in the latest update that is making it hiccup like that. That's a good point. Okay, well, it might be a good time to empty those fellas out since we're not doing anything. And yeah, and I'm not going to bother bringing the semi truck here. We'll just empty it directly into the mill from the auger wagon, since we're right here. Alright, and we're on our second lap. Alright, Lanista, get one for us too. Well, and this time I got smart and I brought the coffee pot in here with me so I can refill on the fly. Well, this thing fills up fast when you got two of them. I might have to get a bigger auger wagon. Oh yeah? Yeah, once you go no man's land, you never go back, I guess. I wonder how much grain that Demco wagon holds. Not a lot more. I really like the Demco. That's a nice looking one. And then you have these massive I don't want anything like that. These mother bins. I mean, I kind of do, but they're a little bit ridiculous with how large they are. 185. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I would upgrade to the Demco. It would, I mean, I guess it would get us about 10% more capacity, but probably not worth spending the money right now. This one I like. I like how it looks in gray. I think it's pretty sharp. All right. And we'll have to go and empty that lead one again. I think it's probably stopped. Yep. You started last March. Yeah, I started playing this game with FS15. Well, I take that back. Actually, I started playing with, well, maybe it was whatever the mobile version was. Back in those days, the mobile version was horrible. Whoa, you're just gonna skip all that? I still kind of enjoyed it though, and then I was like, well, I guess I'll get the game on Steam. And initially I just got it as kind of like a joke. I was like, farming simulator? Ha ha ha, let's try it. And then I loved it. Well, this is interesting to watch. Get out of the way, number 2. I guess they're gonna just leave that whole patch there. We'll come back and get that. Okay. Get back there. Let's see if they work this out. I wonder if I'll get them unstuck if I start to empty. I think they might be in each other's way. I might have to get them unstuck myself. Oh, okay. Now you're going to bring it out again? All right. Make up your mind. Yeah, they were making a pretty complicated maneuver here. Okay, and I'll empty it a bit, but I want it to have, I want the one in the front to have a little bit more than the one in the back. Alright, so we'll stop there. Alright, let's give him a hand here. No. Don't get in front of me, you dumb person. Okay, there we go. Order has been restored. Yeah, I thought since I was on the inside of the turn I might be able to pass them, but it wasn't making a big enough difference. Alright, there we go. Okay. So, we were going to go empty this into the silage bunker. Let's go do that. Excuse me? What am I stuck on? Felt like I hit something, but I don't know what. Alright, how do I unload here? Oh, I have to select that. Yeah, there we go. I didn't have the wagon selected. That was my problem. Okay. Yeah, seems like the bush brought me to a cold stop, didn't it? Okay. Yeah, this field is actually almost done. I mean, it looks like we'll get, I don't know, probably close to 300,000 liters off of this field, which I think is not bad at all. Ought to be enough to get us through the next season, at least. And I'm thinking next season, maybe we'll do an even larger field with corn. Because I think that silage in the BGA will get us more output than we get with the slurry and the manure. Did I get the tanks to work? The side tanks, you mean? Yes, I did. What did I have to do? Oh, yes. Yeah, I figured out what the problem was. The problem was that when I went to add GPS on the vehicle in the workshop, I think I accidentally changed the configuration on the tractor so that it was not using the whatever they call the configuration you have to select to use the tanks, and that's why I couldn't get the tanks to go on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Where is it? Ah. Yeah, this exact rate row crop. This is what I had, but for some reason, when I added GPS, I either accidentally changed it to standard or maybe it reset itself. Did you mention that? I don't remember that, but yeah. But if you did, then you were right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much for the help on that. Oh, okay. You guys mentioned it, but not to me. Well, that doesn't help much. But yeah, that was the problem. So that was easy to fix. It just took me a while to figure it out. Vanessa, you're riding that joke pretty hard. That was a good one. Okay, yep, and looks like the harvesters are full. Yeah, and I got the floating pallets fixed too, so in case anybody didn't see that on the Discord, I hacked my save file to get those pallets unstuck. I found the items in the game files, and I just went through and I just changed their location to a location that was inside the map, and then I was able to pick them up and sell them. This field's going to be done in no time. Where are they? Oh, they're way over there. I wish this thing was a little bit faster. But yeah, two headlands with 2 harvesters takes a pretty big chunk out of the field. And this will pretty much give me another full load, I think. Just stop already. There we go. Okay, that one's empty. I would rather use the Fendt for this job, to be honest. It's a lot harder to get the cart in a good position with the center steering tractor. I think what helps is if you just focus on the front part of the tractor and not even look at the back part of it, since the rest of it is just going to follow that. And if you do that, that kind of helps you from overcorrecting so much. Yeah, Wee Willie, it is warm down here. Yeah. Yeah, Alex, that's what I've seen on the YouTube videos too. It seems like this is the type of vehicle they normally use for this sort of thing. Which makes sense. I'm sure you end up with a very heavy load when it starts getting full and you need a lot of traction to pull it. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. I get what you mean. Well, maybe we'll have to get one of those, huh? Maybe I can trade in my 9R for a 9RT. Yeah. Yeah, and I got rid of that because the steering was kind of squirrely. But, you know, I guess squirrely steering is just something that I'm going to have to get used to. Let's see. I wonder what my 9R is worth. 52,000. Jeez. It's old. Well, we could always take out a loan, am I right? I'm still under 7 mil. Ooh, you can even get weights on it. It's only $500,000. Yeah. Yeah, not bad at all. I say we do it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's cheaper than a cow barn. Good point. Of course, once we do that, we're not going to have any wheeled. The 7 is going to be the only wheeled tractor I still have left. But this one is pretty cool. That's all right. There will be other tractors. No, don't stop, Lanesta. I love it. That's funny. You think I should get a quad track? Okay, yeah. I was going to say, that didn't sound right coming from you. All right, repair, yes. Repaint, yes. And we get 88,000 for that. All right, let's take this up to 7 million. There we go. Hey, Doris. Oh, no, I want the modded one. There we go. Let's get the big front weight. US. Throw the triangle on the back. Screen. Yeah, we don't need the screen. Numbers, yes. This one will be number 2 since I already have a number 1. And then we get the biggest engine possible. We'll do wide with weights. Okay. And we'll go relieve number 1. I'm not sure why I left my pickup truck there. Hey, Jim's here. How you doing, Jim? Haven't seen you in a while. How you been? It's Ro. Welcome to the stream. All right, now everybody's jumping on board with the bad puns. Oh, and they're stopped because I'm in the way. Whoopsie daisy. Just give me a second, would you? when the tractors get stuck because there's another one in the way, like as soon as you give them an inch of room, they start moving. So it's like you just get stuck even worse as you're trying to get unstuck. Yeah, hey, we're doing great. Hope you are too. Glad you could make it to the stream. We're just harvesting our big sorghum field here. We got dual harvesters. Lots of green machines. Oh, shoot. And now my lead vehicle is falling behind. $1 waiting on a dime. Yeah, that's a good that's a good expression. Yep, Alex complains loudly if we don't get John Deere all the time. Alright, so as soon as yeah, you need to, Chuven, when you set up the course plate course, you have to set it up for 2 machines. Oh yeah, it is a good way to learn. Oh, okay, maybe we don't need to do that yet. Now, I'm not going to touch these things when they're turning around because it's hard to get them back on track once they've done that. So once they start cutting through the crop, then I'll stop this one and let number 1 get ahead of them again. You may be wondering what he's doing. And I think what he's doing right now is trying to make his way over here or something. This does look like a bunkie with a football, doesn't it? Oh, okay. That little bit there was actually part of the course. Alright, well done. Alright, we'll let them sort that out. Let's keep doing the corn. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes with course play it's better if you just go do something else and don't watch them too closely. Otherwise you'll start to get upset. They'll figure it out eventually. Let's see if I'll be able to get all the rest of this without filling up the trailer. I have not done grapes yet. No. I may get into that later on. But thus far, I haven't been too interested because it seems like it's a lot of work for not a lot of result. I could be wrong about that, but that's been my impression based on what I've seen so far. Okay, let's go dump this into the bunker, and then we'll have to come back and finish up that last little bit. Alright. And we're almost done. I don't know if you saw that, but when I unfold the pipe, there's... Oh, you know what? I guess it stores up whatever you chop after the trailer gets full. I wonder what the maximum capacity for that is. It gave me close to 7,000 liters. Yeah, it's almost time for the mouse. That's right. Although I'm going to try to wait until we have the money to buy it, because I don't want to... Now that the loan's at $7 million, I'm thinking that might be a good place to stop borrowing money. Oh, time to feed the girls. Okay. And I'll just run this one down the middle if I can without getting stuck. Alright, and that's it. Alright, I'll just park this here for now. We'll put that away later. Let's go see how these boys are doing. Looks like we're going to need to empty out. Yeah, you're right, Alex. Wouldn't that be lucky if we saw that thing all of a sudden? Like how come Farm Sim can't be like Facebook, where you talk about how you're thinking of buying something and then it magically shows up in your feed on sale someplace? That's right. Okay, now it should stop here at the end of the row and let me finish emptying it. I think that's what it usually does. No? We're going to do this the hard way, huh? Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's get number 2 out of the way so we can restore the natural order of things. I'll put the pipe out so I can go ahead and empty it. So we'll let number 1 get ahead here. And then I'll put him on pause as well so that we can get things synced back up the way they should be. And then we'll go compact that silage bunker. I'm in the mood for a little music. I mean, if this isn't perfect farming music, I don't know what is. I don't like country, so... This is like the 80s training montage music. Yeah, there you go. This is like the music where Jean-Claude Van Damme is getting ready for his big fight against the boss. Yeah, you know, I've used the radio before when I was playing by myself, and there's actually some pretty decent music in there. I haven't used it in stream though, because I'm not sure if it's okay to use on stream or not, and I don't want to risk getting any copyright strikes. Nice. Okay, so that's the third full load. That'll get us to 210,000, I guess. Okay, so let's restart. Okay, now we're good. Oh, I see what you mean. Do you see it? Oh, in the harvester? Does it show what's playing? What's the key for the radio? No, that's not it. Oh, they say Giants FM. Okay. We'll stop there. Okay. So let's park that. And let's get this guy fired up. So I think the first thing I'll do is get this part compacted. And then we'll clean up the front of the silo. And look, we can actually turn around inside the silo, which is pretty impressive, if you ask me. Okay, so that's 100%. Alright, now let's get this blade all the way down. I said all the way down. Right, hang on. Tip this forward a bit more. There we go. And we'll just push all that inside. You can tow a tipper? What do you mean? Alright, let's go park this. Oh, okay. Okay. I gotcha. Because you're playing 17. Alright. And then this is one of those vehicles that I'll park, since I rarely use it. And then we'll go cover the silo. And it'll start turning into silage. How much do we have here? 285,000 liters. Not bad. Okay. Cool. So that job's done. Now we can go put this stuff away. I'm thinking it would probably be nice just to keep the forage harvester parked over here, since we're close to the grass over here, and that's what we're going to use it for the most. Probably wash this off. And we'll run a repair on that. And then we'll take a look at what else we need to harvest. Oh, silage? Yeah. Silage is better with corn. You get a lot more... you get a lot more material off of the same amount of land if you do corn. Which makes sense. I mean, it's a lot taller than grass. So, you get a lot more volume. And then I think I can park. Oh, you know what I could do? I can park. I'll put this header in the back here. Since I only use that header once a season at most, whereas the grass cutting header we use several times a year. So I'll just put that one in the back, and then I'll park in front of it, and then I'll bring the mower header over here. You know what? Let's park this one too. That one doesn't necessarily get daily use. Okay. I think we'll take this guy home. And then I want to check and see if we've got anything that we can sell this month to get some money. It's almost time to empty the combines. Yeah, I'll check used again. I mean, there was the Crone thingy, which I already bought. Okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to hook up my gooseneck. I'll reconfigure this into a flatbed, and then I'll use this to move that cutter header over there to the shed. Oh, Chuvin, that's called Simple Inspector. Protein Pick Mix. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the follow. Alright, I'm just going to use my super strength here. I hope nobody minds. Okay, that looks good. Let's strap it in. How's it going? Oh, I gotta empty my harvesters. me just get this over there, and then we'll do that real quick. I do love this truck and trailer combo. Alright, let's get those harvesters emptied out. There we go. Yeah, it's a great truck mod, Protein. It's from Northwest Mods and Edits. If you're on PC, you can download it from them. They have a Facebook page. That's where I got the trailer from as well. Oh, speaking of trucks, I don't know if I told you guys, but when I was on that trip to visit my parents a few weeks ago, we reserved a rental car. It was a mid-size sedan. You know, so it was going to be $50 a day or something like that. There's only the three of us, my wife, my son, and I. So normally a car like that is fine. But when we got there, they were telling people that didn't have a reservation, they were saying that they were out of cars. So right away I'm thinking, oh man, I hope they still have a car for me. So we waited in line and we got up there, and she said, you know, I see you have a mid-sized sedan reserved. We're waiting for a couple cars to be ready. It's going to be about a 45-minute wait. She said, or I can upgrade you to a luxury SUV. We have those available right now. She said normally they're $200 a day. You can do it for $100 a day. So I was like, big SUV? I was like, yeah, okay, let's do that. I mean, it'll cost me maybe another couple $100 for the trip, but it'll be nice to have the space. So she took us out there, and we got a 2022 GMC Denali, a Yukon Denali. And man, that thing is sweet. You know, so I drove that like the hour or so to get to my parents' house from the airport. It has adaptive cruise control on it. So like it's got these sensors in front that can detect how far you are from the vehicle in front of you, you know. So you set your cruise control to whatever your maximum speed is, and then it just automatically adjusts its speed to keep a distance behind the vehicle in front of you. In fact, it even applies the brakes if it has to. Yeah, and man, that thing rides nice. So we were driving that around, and I told my wife, I was like, I think I got to get one of these things. This is a really nice vehicle, you know. And I'm a fairly, you know, I'm tall, I'm a fairly large guy, so it was like I just loved that I had plenty of room and the seats were nice and wide. Yeah. So when we got to my parents, you know, and I had some time, I started looking on the web to see how much they cost. That one that we were in was like, it's like $100,000 for a car. So I think I might have to hold off on that Denali. Yeah, I can't imagine a normal person, you know, spending that much money on a vehicle, a non-1%er. Although, I know people do. There's a lot of people out there that have like, you know, $1,000 car payments every month. But anyway, so what I told my wife is I'll just wait. I'll wait a few years and look for a used one. I could probably find like a 2 or 3 year old one for like 40, you know. Okay, good. That's done. And this field is almost done. Which, by the way, is still really expensive as far as I'm concerned. This is not going to work out well. $44K for a stripped down truck. Jeez. Hey Willie, how'd you like the Charger? Yeah, actually my wife is due for a new car, Chuven, and we're thinking Tesla. Or at least an all electric vehicle, because she works, I mean, I work from home probably 90% of the time, and my wife does go into the office a few days a week now, but her job is only a few miles away from us, so we're thinking that an electric vehicle would probably be ideal for commuting. And then I have like I have like a mid-size SUV that I drive. You know, we can use that to take trips and stuff. Oh, jeez. $3.10 for fuel. Well, you must have been stepping on it pretty liberally, right? I assume you had the one with the. I'm assuming the one you rented had the Hemi in it, right? Yeah, Lanesta, you know, I think with gas prices going up, I think there's going to be a lot of demand for electric vehicles in the near future. Hey, Kobe Brow, hello, and thanks for the follow. Thanks for coming to the stream. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy yourself. And Grafton, hello to you too. I didn't say hi to you when you came in. Thanks to all the newcomers today. So for those of you who are perhaps here for the first time, as you can see, we're playing on No Man's Land. And Ziplib rating with 10. Hi Ziplib. Thank you. And welcome to the Friends of Ziplib. Oh, thanks a lot, Protein. Appreciate that. We do keep things pretty chill around here. The only time things ever get out of hand is when I buy something that's not John Deere, and then Alex starts to get a little wild. But other than that, it's usually a pretty relaxed atmosphere. Yeah, so as I was saying, we're on No Man's Land. We have... I don't know. We have probably around 130 hours on this save so far. So on this big field here, we plant sorghum every season. Yeah. And that goes directly into the grain mill here. Because we're running 2 bakeries. We're making cake and we're making bread. Mostly cake. We're making cake, and then whatever's left over we use to make bread. So that's one of our main money makers. We also have a furniture shop. I'll take you guys for a quick tour of the map here in just a minute. Let me just get this unloaded. Yeah. Should have had my flannel. I just got my Texas t-shirt. I know it's kind of hard to see, but... Yeah, Doris is what we named the lady that runs the shop here in No Man's Land. So if you hear us talk about Doris, we're talking about the lady behind the counter in the vehicle shop. Okay, so let me give you guys a quick overview. So this is what we got so far, right? This is all the land that we own. So some of it we're not fully utilizing yet, but the main farm is up here, which I'll show you in a few moments. And then we've got these, what is that, 7 fields. So we've got cotton growing here. We're getting ready to harvest that soon. We just harvested some corn for silage for our cows. We did oats because we needed straw for the cows. I also have chickens. So this should have been barley, but last season I missed... I wasn't paying attention and I missed the window to plant barley, so we had to plant oats in the spring, and I currently just have to buy chicken feed until we can get some barley planted. We got a grass field over there. Here we're doing soybeans. We're just doing the soybeans just to sell the crop. We're not using it for anything else. Again, the sorghum we're using to make flour for the bakeries. Sorghum is the best crop. If you're going to be making flour, sorghum is the way to go, because you get the most flour per area of land from sorghum than you do from wheat or barley or oats. The only drawback to sorghum is you don't get straw from it. So if you need straw, then you might want to do another one. But anyway, we're doing sorghum here, and then normally we'll do barley up here to get straw and to get food for the chickens. And then down here I'm doing sugar beets, which we're going to put in the sugar mill because we need sugar for the cakes as well. So all of this gives us everything that we need to make cake. And then the cotton, of course, we're using to make clothes because those make a ton of money. All right, so that's an overview of the fields. So over here, let me get into flight mode here. It'll be a little bit easier. So this is kind of our industrial area over here. We've got our flour mill. Over here is the sugar mill. And then this is our distribution. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is the sawmill. This is where we bring the wood. And then over here, this is a distribution warehouse, which is a mod. So all of our products and ingredients get distributed to the warehouse, and then when it's time to sell something, I can just pick everything up from the warehouse and take it to sell. Okay, over here is where we have, I don't know, this is like the light industrial area, you could say. So here's where we have the spinnery that makes cloth. Here we have the furniture shop, the dairy, and then this is the industrial bakery mod. And all the other production buildings that I'm using, those are from a mod pack called No Handcuffs Production. And the difference between No Handcuffs and the vanilla is that No Handcuffs gives you 5 times the output. Okay, aside from that, it's pretty much the same. You know, and the capacities are different. The recipes are the same. They're just 5 times faster. So having like 1 No Handcuffs dairy is like having 5 regular dairies. Okay. And then over here on the main strip here outside of the shop, this is where we have the the regular bakery. Again, we're making cakes and bread there. And then we have the tailor shop. All right. So let's head over to the farm. All right, so here's the main farm. I got a cool little sign on my entrance here. And here we have a Fendt 150, which was one of the first tractors I bought used when I started on the map. And we put a lot of hours on it, and now that it got kind of old, we decided to retire it, so it sits here in a place of honor at the entrance to my farm. Here we've got root crop storage. We've got some sheep. It's about time to take wool. Here's where we make our silage. This is a grass dryer that I use to make hay. So we just dump grass in here, and this turns it into hay. This is a mod from a guy named Stevie. If you look for Stevie Farming Simulator mods, he has a Facebook page where you can download all of his mods. He makes some really nice ones. He also makes nice maps. His main map right now is an edit of Elm Creek, which is really well done. This is a modded dairy barn that holds 240 cows instead of 80. But otherwise it functions the same as the in-game one. It just holds more cows, and therefore we get more milk, more slurry, and more manure. And there's our girls out there. Right now we only have 120 cows right now, so we're waiting for them to reproduce, and that'll fill that up. Then over here I have chickens. Again, a modded chicken coop that holds, 650 chickens? Something like that. It just holds more chickens than vanilla. There's a little shed with some of the equipment we use in this area. We got my very cool mod pickup truck with my logo on the sides. And I just use this silo to store, extra straw, hay, and so forth for the cows. Okay, and then this is where the farm started. This is the default starting area on no man's land, but got myself a little house, greenhouse. This is where we make the strawberries for the cakes. That's vanilla. We got the silo here. This is called the DH silo. It holds a lot of stuff. Then we got a couple garages here. This is a workshop over there. This is the Meridian Storage Yard mod, which is on Mod Hub. So this is where I buy all my supplies, or at least most of my supplies. I also have the multi-fruit, what do they call this? Multi-fruit silo. Anyway, this is the one where you can buy pretty much any item in the game, any bulk item in the game. So right now, this is where I'm buying my chicken food. I just buy barley from there. Yeah, and then this is a garage from the English Barn Pack, I think is the name of the mod. All right, we got a forestry machine. Yeah, it's been a lot of hours putting this together, but really happy with it. This is where I get my water. Oh, okay. Good to know, Alex. We may have to upgrade our sheep pasture then too. Oh, and then we're also using the modular BGA mod. Let me show you that. Okay, so we have the modular BGA here, which I have set up to, right now it's only set up to process slurry, because up until very recently I wasn't making any manure. So now that we have manure from the cows too, I'm going to have to add another digester that can handle the solid stuff. But we haven't done that yet, although we will soon. And over here is where I'm doing forestry. We're starting to. I'm going to start clearing this area of trees. We've already cleared out a little bit of it, so when we need more wood for furniture, that's where we'll get it. But right now, the sawmill and the furniture shop are pretty full. So, yeah. So there's the. That's the $10 tour. Dakota Woodard, 130. Hello. Hope things are going well in Louisiana. Thanks for stopping by the stream. I'm going to take my truck over and park it where it normally goes. And maybe we can find a good spot to leave my gooseneck trailer. And then maybe we can take a ride in that go-kart. It's rather fun. Do I have another spot over here? Ah, yes. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to park this there. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Hope to see you back here in the future. Alright, so we'll detach that. And then we got to remember to put down the tailgate. There we go. Oh, watch out, Turbo. Turbo's always getting under my wheels. Oh, okay, Alex. Yeah, I remember seeing that mod pack. I didn't realize the capacities were different because in the description all they tell you is what the price is. I remember seeing that and being slightly annoyed. It's like, why don't they just give you all the information so you know if you want to download it or not? Yeah, so I got this recently. This thing is a hoot. Oh, okay. Good to know, Willie. Thanks. Alright, check this out, guys. Yikes. Hoo-yah. Let me try that again. I can pick up a little more speed if I don't turn around so much. Yeah, so this is pretty fun. We might have to build a track for this one of these days. I wish I had one of these in real life, actually. This thing is pretty cool. Alright, let's see. So now we have to put the harvesters away. But first, let's activate the flour. Okay, so we have 274,000 liters, which I'm not sure. I don't know if this is going to be enough to run both bakeries. Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that, Dakota. Hope you don't get fired. So maybe what we can do, I'm going to turn off bread production for a while. Okay, so we'll just make cake. We'll make cake in both of the bakeries. And if we find that we have a lot of flour, if we find that we still have a lot of flour available when we harvest this field again, then we can turn on the bread for a while. And we'll just use bread to use up, you know, whatever excess flour we accumulate. Hey, Jim. Yeah, it was good to see you. Have a good day. All right, and before we pack these up completely, let me see what else is ready to harvest today. If anything. Okay, it was just the sorghum today. So, yeah, the soybeans, sugar beets, and cotton, I think we'll have to wait until October, apparently. Soybeans, sugar beets, yeah, okay. So we got a couple months before those are going to be ready. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll get these cleaned up and do maintenance and put them away. And I think for the other fields, I'll probably only use one of these harvesters rather than both. Because the other fields, I think, are maybe not really big enough to bother with 2 harvesters. We could do 2 fields at a time. Let's see. We can do... Well, no, I can't because we only have the soybeans. The other 2 fields use special equipment, so... I do want to get this patch here first. Okay. Are you still employed, Dakota? We like doing fun stuff on stream, but I don't want anyone getting canned in real time on the live stream. Let's get out of the way. Cooper's barking to be let into the room. All right. Let's fold that up. Nope. Wrong button. Yep. Give me 1 second, guys. Be right back. Alright, I needed a stretch anyway. And it's getting a little warm in here. I gotta turn on the air conditioning. I need new thermostats. Because I have the kind that you can set to heat or you can set to cool. But it won't switch modes automatically. So this time of year and again in the fall, it's like a lot of times we need heat at night and we need AC during the day. And it's kind of a pain because I have to constantly be switching back and forth myself. Kobe, you got 56, 7, and 8. Oh, okay. Those 3 and 48. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a big field. And I think what I want to do, I'd like to clear all these trees here, and then I can expand into 49 and 59. I mean, I guess I could always make an island for now and expand, and then... Do I own those fields? No, I don't own those yet. We could do that maybe. Just make an island. It'll get us another... Let's see, how big is this field now? Yeah, it's 18 hectares now, so... That'd probably give us another 6 or 7 hectares, I'm guessing. And then clear the trees as we need wood for the furniture. Yeah, maybe I'll try those. Although I've kind of been not super excited about having a thermostat that has a camera on it. You know, because of Big Brother. And the camera feature wouldn't really do much for us anyway, because my thermostats are in hallways, so they don't... It's not like it would... It really wouldn't detect whether there's much activity in the house or not. Oh, it doesn't have a camera? I thought that's how it detected whether, you know, whether people were at home or not. Like, I just kind of... Well, and the other thing is that since I work from home a lot now, I don't really need a complicated program, you know. It's just like... Since I work at home, I pretty much just set a temperature and that's it. Oh, okay, it's a sensor. Okay, well that's good to know. Maybe I will consider that then. I know they're pretty good. At least, well, I don't know, but I've heard that they're pretty good. So, yeah, No Man's Land was initially introduced in 19. So it was kind of, when it showed up in 22, it was ported over, I guess. I think they probably had to make a few changes to the map to get it to work, but I think that's the reason it was able to get released so quickly after release. You know what, I've noticed that okay. Yeah, it looks like... See, it snapped in there. Sometimes it seems like it doesn't snap into the trailer, and I'm not sure why. Oh, okay, it did. Maybe I just had to wait longer. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just vegetation in the shop. So it's not a whole lot to do on it. Yet it's so awesome. Alright, let's go get these guys parked. Yeah, I would love that, Willie. That would make things so much easier. You know, and it's funny, I was just thinking, it's like... We have stuff like Courseplay that'll do the field work. But then I'm stuck with shuttling vehicles around and doing this kind of thing. I'd rather have all this junk automated so that I can do the field work myself. Yeah, no contracts is kind of a drawback on this map, right? Yeah, you know what, Taurus? I actually have auto drive, but I've changed my farm around a lot, so now all my auto drive courses are not usable. So I need to take the time to remake them, basically. MRB 424054, thanks for the follow. Yeah. Yeah, if you look at my auto drive courses now, they're all, I mean, some of it's still usable, but yeah, I really have to redo it. And that takes a lot of time, so I haven't been too excited about tackling that as of yet. Mathis BSV, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Whoops. Wrong button. Alright, so this workshop here requires one to be inside the garage. And I'm not gonna even attempt to try to back this trailer into the garage, so I think what I'm gonna do is run and get my toolbox, and we'll do the maintenance out here. And actually we should probably go and refuel this guy too while we're at it. Yeah, once you get it set up well, it's awesome, but it does, it's like you gotta dedicate a couple hours to it. One of the things I love about this truck mod is that if you have the toolbox, whoops, you can throw that in the back. And then I also have the diesel tank on here. And with that, you can take care of your vehicles. Aside from washing them, you got yourself a mobile workshop. So I often use this to refuel vehicles in the field if I need to. Alright, and then, so you got the toolbox, so you line this up so that the orange clasps are facing the direction that you want. Okay, let's try this again. I want to repair the header, not the trailer. See if it's going to let me do it. There we go. Alright, perfect. Now where am I going to park the header? The header will have to go into the garage. But I'm not going to try to do that with the harvester. So I'll just go ahead and park the harvester in the garage. And then I'll use one of the smaller vehicles to get the header inside. Or actually, maybe this header I'll just leave outside since I'm going to need it again in October. Okay. So, number 2's taken care of. Yeah, so I think I will use auto drive. It's gonna it's going to crash. Or let's see, if I send it to Farm Workshop, I think that'll go to an area that's clear. Yeah. Let's move this out of the way. This was some leftover lime. Okay, let's send you back. This one I can probably park since we don't use that every day. Yeah, and then same with you. We'll send you back. Okay, so that'll help speed things along a little bit. Now, I wonder if I can... I wonder if I can connect this truck to the header trailer. That would be nice. Let's try it. I've noticed that the pickup truck, the hitch on the pickup truck doesn't work with everything. Let's lower it. Ah, cool. It does work. Awesome. Alright, so this is going to be used for the soybeans. What would be a good place to park this? I think let's park it around the back of the big building here. We'll just park it alongside. In fact, maybe I'll just use this as the permanent place for both of the headers because they take up an awful lot of space inside and they're hard to maneuver because they're so long. So I think that'll be a good spot for them. Okay. Oops. Clipped my fence there. Do you guys see that? Did you see the tracks on that thing? That was hilarious. Alright, let's refuel. Yeah, that was funny. I never seen that before. Oh, does it? Alright, this doesn't need any repairs or anything, so I think we'll go ahead and we'll park this back in the shed. Then again, I think we'll park it in the shed, but I think I'll just go ahead and leave it hooked up because we're going to need this for the soybeans. Alright. Whoops. Alright, we'll just leave that there. Okay, this should be fueled up now. And then we'll bring it over here so we can wash it and repair. And I want to fix this up. There we go. That's better. It looks like that it didn't cost anything to paint that. So that was very cool. All right. Let's park the number 1. And for the soybean harvest, I'll use the number 2 harvester since that one's brand new. I'll try to keep them. I'll try to keep the wear on the 2 harvesters fairly even. So I'll use the number 2 harvester for a while until it catches up in hours to the number 1. Looks like we got 8 hours on this one. Okay, and then this one I will put in park mode. Alright, so for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, I'm using the park vehicle mod. And what that does is it allows you to, you can see this little icon down here in the bottom. You can put it in park mode, and what that does is it makes it so that when you're tabbing through your vehicles, it doesn't go to that vehicle anymore. So when you have like a gazillion vehicles like I do, you don't have to tab through every single one every time. Just discovered that recently, so that's pretty nice. Actually, somebody on the stream, or no, it was somebody on YouTube left me a comment about that. So that was a nice tip. Alright, let's connect that, and we'll throw the, where's my toolbox? Ah, there it is. We'll throw this back in the truck. I don't know. I don't know if it's PC or not. I think it may be because in the description it talks about the controls. You use Control T. It doesn't say anything about any kind of any other key combination, so I'm guessing maybe it's PC only. I don't know. Probably. Which is unfortunate. Okay. Good. I think that's a good place for the headers to be. Let's park the truck, and then we'll take a look around the farm and see what else needs to be done before we finish up August. I do want to check and see if there's anything we can sell. It would be nice to have a little bit of income this month. Oh, yeah. So let's check our price triggers here. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of none of our price triggers are active. Okay, so we're gonna wait. We do have a full load of slurry that we can. How much manure do I have? 17,000. Okay. We'll wait on the manure and the BGA. But yeah, we can take the slurry over to the BGA. That'll give us. We're making about 150 grand a month from that modular BGA. So that, I mean, that's a great thing to have on the farm, and that'll be increasing as we get more cows and more slurry and start incorporating the manure as well. So that's going to make us some good money. And as always, we have this traction problem with the semis. If anybody knows of a truck mod that doesn't spin its wheels all the time, I Love to hear about it. It's kind of annoying. I saw somebody playing with there was a nice Kenworth. It was like a cab over design. That one looked pretty slick. I was thinking about seeing if I can find that one to download. Try a different truck for a while. Yeah, I don't like the Phoenix. I'm not a fan. Too noisy. And plus that was the one that flipped out on me. Maybe I could try it again with a different engine. The one that doesn't sound like a... The one that doesn't sound like there's like a cat got stuck in the fan belt when you start it up. Oh, really, Willie? Which Mac? The Pinnacle or the other one? Oh, really? Oh, okay. The Anthem. This one, right? Well, yeah, and this is the one that I'm using on my Giant Epithecus 1862. Thanks for the follow and welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is the truck I have on my warehouse vehicle. Maybe I should try that one for a while. See if I get different results. And if so, then I'll sell this one. Let's see, how much milk do I have? Okay, not a full load yet. Okay. Yeah, why don't we... I'll swap vehicles. Yeah, it is. We keep things pretty relaxed around here. We're just having a good time. I don't like playing games that raise my adrenaline level. That's not what I'm after. I get plenty of adrenaline every time my boss calls me at work, so... Yeah, you know, in fact, let's just sell this and I'll get another one of those Macs. Yeah, yeah, it's great. We have a lot of new folks today. Now, the one thing I do, this is a modded Mac Anthem or Pinnacle, I forget which one it is. This is a modded truck from Stevie, the same guy who made that haydryer mod that I mentioned. One thing I do like about this is it goes up to 700 and something horsepower. But yeah, I think we'll try the other Mac. Honestly, I do prefer more modern looking vehicles. Yeah, that one's not worth a whole lot, unfortunately. Let's see what Doris can do for me. Do I have the black Anthem? No, is that a mod? Okay, I don't have it, but I think we need to get it. Is that the 9R that I just sold? And what did they give me for it? Yeah, that's the one I just sold. I didn't get 127 grand, I know that. Well, Doris, yeah. 88, okay, yeah. Well, that's all right. Doris needs to make a living so that she can buy my cakes. So that's okay. Yeah, let me restart here. Let's see if we can find, let's see what modded trucks we have. Lots of mans. Oh, I don't see it. Where's the Black Anthem? Oh, okay. It's an add-on. Okay, let me check something here. But isn't that like a special edition sort of thing? Oh, okay. Huh. All right. Well, let me buy that here real quick. Yeah, 99 cents. Okay, purchased. I guess I'm probably going to have to exit the game. So let me exit real quick. And install content. It's probably downloaded already. Yeah. Okay, let's restart. Yeah, I missed that. Yeah, and I'll check out the Z-Tor later on as well. Okay, so let's see. I guess it's under M for Mac. No. Under B for black. All right, I guess we're going to have to scroll through everything. Let's get a little scrolling music. Let's see. I don't see it. Okay, it's unlocked. Oh, okay, so it's already there. Okay. All right. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, that's okay. Too bad you guys can't, like... You know what I should do? I wonder if I can set up something on Twitch so that you guys can use your T-Bucks to, like, make a noise. Okay. Well, thanks, Alex. Have a good day. Yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh, that's expensive. Okay, design 1, design 2. Oh, okay. So it's just front mirrors or no front mirrors. I don't use mirrors anyway, so we'll stick with design 2. Okay, so 170. Well, it's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and get it. And now I'm pretty much broke until we can sell something. I mean, we can always sell things for less than maximum price if we have to, you know. It won't be the end of the world. Let's check out the interior. Interior looks pretty much the same, I think. Yeah, but it's pretty cool looking. I mean, for 99 cents, I guess it's worth it. Alright, so I'm going to hook him up to the milk trailer since that'll be the next load we'll need to haul. In fact, let's go ahead and do it now. We'll test it out. Even though it's not a full load. Okay, let's see, where do we need milk the most? We have to check both bakeries. Alright, so that bakery has 23,000 liters and 33,000 liters of butter. This bakery has not a lot of either, but it looks like we need butter slightly more than we need milk, so we'll take this to the dairy. Yeah. And no wheel slippage so far. Looks sharp. I'm gonna have to change the wheels on all my trailers to get black rims. I don't think I'm going to make this turn. Alright, let's set this to make butter. Once we get more milk, you can see that this building is full of sugar too, so once we have an excess of milk, then we'll use whatever we have left over to make chocolate. Let's watch out for the hedge. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so maybe it was just the mod that was causing me problems. And I thought it was ubiquitous because I use that truck on pretty much every map I play on. So I guess I'll use a different one now. right. Do any of you guys play Truck Simulator? Either American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator? Because that's a pretty chill game. I would say more chill than this. Not quite as busy. Yeah, you play Protein? Yeah, I put some hours on is it fun? I don't know, fun might be a strong word. It can be. It's more like it's kind of relaxing. It's nice to do while you're watching videos or something. But that one I think is definitely much better with a steering wheel. Now I do still have my old steering wheel. Yeah, with Truck Simulator, they're not missions, they're contracts. So there's like a freight market where you go and you can see all the hauling contracts. You know, and they pay different amounts depending on what the cargo is and what the distance is. Like longer distances pay more per mile. You know, hazardous cargo and stuff like that pays more per mile. Really heavy loads. You know, there's lots of trucks that you can buy. They're highly customizable. You level up. You know, so as you level up, you can take longer and longer contracts. You can get like hazmat certifications and stuff like that. So, and then you can also buy garages with additional trucks, and you can hire other drivers to run contracts in the background for you. Cromwell and Games Thrills, thanks for the follow, guys. Appreciate that. Welcome. Let's park this. So yeah, it's a pretty cool game. And then obviously Euro Truck Simulator is in Europe and uses the European version of the trucks. And American Truck Simulator is in the US and uses the American versions of the trucks. Hey, I'm doing good. Hope you are too. Thanks for stopping by the stream. All right, so let's check on our production. We got water. We're making flour. We're making cake. We're making planks. We're making furniture. Do I have any grass left? Nope. I'm going to check and see if grass is ready to be cut again. Okay, there we're making butter. Clothing is still being produced. And I've got slurry in the fermenter. So, yeah, so I think we're pretty much all set there. Last thing I want to check is make sure that my egg output area doesn't get overloaded. Yeah, we're doing good. Okay, so I think we can call it good for the month of August here. Oh, let me just check my fields real quick. Make sure I don't need to put down fertilizer or anything like that. Okay, that field needs to be plowed. Yeah, everything else is good. And when do we plant barley? Okay, so next month we'll put down some barley. And we're going to put that on this field. So let's rename that. That way we'll remember what to put there. Yeah, so next month I think we can... what was I going to say? We can plow this field and then we can make some barley. And I'll probably put corn there again for more silage. Gigantopithecus, that is a feature of Courseplay. So if you're on PC and you have the course play mod, it allows you to define your own field borders, and then you can name those zones. And so I'm using that naming feature just to kind of keep track of what I want to put on each field. It's pretty convenient. Okay, yeah. So let's jump ahead to September. See what's in store for us. That is a new feature. That is a very new feature of course play. So, yeah, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all. Check used. Yes. Thank you, Wee Willie. We'll do that. Okay. Yeah, nothing there that I need. I used to own one of these, but then we decided that we had enough of handling pallets. So, all right, let's feed Turbo. Where is he? There he is. Here he comes. He's coming to eat. Okay. So we can plant barley. Nothing yet is harvestable until next year, or next month rather, sorry. Right, so let's get a plow going on the cornfield, and we'll start seeding the barley. I think we can do both of those activities simultaneously. And I will use the 9RT for the plowing, since the plowing seems to work better with a non-articulated tractor. And I think I'm going to plant corn there again next season, so we can make more silage. Let's see. Does it need lime also? No, it just needs plowing. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything needs lime at the moment. Okay, so let's create a course. Actually, let's check and see if I have one saved. I don't think I have a plowing course for CP5. No. Okay, so we'll create a new course. We'll select the field. I want to start there. Yeah, that's a good idea, Willie. I may start doing the same thing. Although I do kind of enjoy using the sprayer for the weeds. So, all right, let's do 2 headlands. I think 2 headlands will be enough. And I'm going to do sharp corners, since this field does have a lot of sharp corners. And field margin 0.4. Yep, that all looks good. Okay, so let me save that. That's CP5 plow. Okay, and we'll navigate to close to the start point. And we'll get her going. Start from the first waypoint. Make sure create fields is turned off. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so when you set it to sharp corners, then it'll stop and reverse so that it'll perfectly cover these 90-degree corners and not just round them off, if that's important to you. Okay, so for the barley, I don't think that field is big enough to use the Seed Hawk. So I think we'll just use the Amazon. Oh, it's just social, singular, Lunesta. Did we use the 8? No, I think we'll use the 9. I have not, no. I'll be honest, guys, I haven't noticed any yield reduction by spraying the weeds. No, I don't mulch or roll my fields. Oh. Huh. Okay. It's not working. Give me a second. Okay, how do I get to my dashboard? Okay, how do I get to my dashboard? Okay. All right, that's not good. All right, let's see here. CloudBot commands. Yeah, it seems like the bot is not working. I don't know why. The command is still there and it's still active, so here, let's try a different command. Yeah, I guess the bot's not working. Wrong way. Yeah, that's the first thing, right? It's like cut us off from communication with the outside world. She's following the playbook. Oh, you know what? I got that mod for the that lets you lean. Might come in handy at some point. Alright, so let's change our seed to barley, and let's fill this bad boy up. Perfect. And I think I will do this one manually, because we don't often do that. So you'll get to witness my not so good driving, but I think I'll still miss fewer spots than Courseplay would. so I don't feel too bad about it. Hey, Occam's Razor, how are you? I'm doing very well so far. Thanks for asking. Hope you're having a good day. I always look forward to my Sunday mornings. Because I enjoy playing the game and hanging out with all of you guys. Trying to keep the cows happy. Yep, that's important. You don't want the cows getting up in arms. There, did you see we just skipped a spot? I'm assuming because of terrain. Somebody rang the doorbell, which means the dogs lose their minds. And if my wife hasn't left for church yet, then she ought to be answering it. So I don't have to. Question about silage? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. You know what? I don't know the answer to that. I think you can put bales in there, but I've never tried it myself, so I don't know for sure. Okay, Gigantopithecus says yes. The dogs are all excited. They're running in here to check on me. Oh yeah. Yeah. 260 cows is that's a lot of work. Yeah, on another map I play on in my spare time, I have the one that has, what is it, 400 and I think it's 460. Yeah, and that one is pretty much every day you have to add food and water, and I've got like production buildings making TMR pretty much nonstop. It's a big job. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like the seed consumption rate has increased since the game first came out. Like I've already used up half of my seed. Yeah, I like mowing grass in the game. Oddly enough, I like mowing grass in real life too, for some reason. Oh yeah, yeah. That is the drawback of the TMR factory. You have to give it mineral feed. Yeah, I think the mixing wagon is the way to go, at least as far as efficiency goes, because you don't have to use mineral feed, and you can dial in your ratios to maximize the amount of straw that you use. All right, let's see. So auto width. That looks good. And now that the AC is running, now I'm too cold. Oh, yeah, it's set to 70 degrees. Let's change that to 72. I'm just glad they have the app for it now, so I don't have to walk over there. All right, and we get the old GPS going. You know what, Wee Willie? I've seen on, I think it may have been built into a map, but I think if you look around, yeah, you can find a mod. I've seen mods that allow you to make mineral feed from corn. Volcan95, hello. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. We got a nice crowd today. Yeah. You know what, Occam's Razor, you can also buy it from one of the one of the multi-fruit buy point mods. That's what I do. I don't think I've ever bought pallets of it. Just buy it in bulk. No, I didn't. I didn't do anything differently than I usually do. Maybe Twitch's algorithms are just working in my favor today. Bird 59701, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. I'm glad I'm showing up there. About time. Yeah. I wish the bot was working. Let me try it again here. Uh-oh. Here's what I can do. There you go. There's my social links. If somebody wants to copy it, that would be cool. And we've also got a merch store. If anybody wants one of these snazzy 2-plex coffee mugs, or a t-shirt, or a hoodie. There we go. Pardon me. Alright, looks like our plowing is done. And this field won't take but a few more minutes. And that was corn. Yeah, so that field that just got plowed, we want to put corn on that, so that for that we'll have to wait until the spring. Yeah, Lanesta's got a lot of good dad jokes. Dad jokes are not just for dads anymore. Right, so now that I'm seeding this field, one trick I've learned for weeds is that you can run the weeder over it as soon as you plant it, and it'll prevent weeds from ever growing. So we'll probably do that as soon as I finish the seeding operation. We'll run the weeder over it. That's a good one, Jim. Yeah. Oh, add a seed. So we gotta go refill. We were so close to finishing, too. There we go. I didn't really need to refill the fertilizer. That's a good one. Keep them coming, guys. I'm trying to think of one. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I can't think of jokes like on the spot. Oh, actually I know a good joke, and it's actually farming related. I saw this one on Reddit a couple weeks ago. All right, so there's a farmer who's his rooster, you know, he had a bunch of chickens. He had a few hundred chickens. And his rooster got old and died, so he needed to get himself a new rooster. So so he went to, you know, to wherever you go to buy roosters, and he bought a new one. You know, he picked one out. He saw this one rooster, looked really healthy. It was, you know, strutting around the yard. Seemed to have a lot of vigor and vitality. So he said, yeah, that one looks pretty good. So he bought this rooster, brought it home that morning, goes out a couple hours later, and he sees that the rooster had already gotten to all the hens that he owned, all 300 hens. He's thinking, man, this rooster's something else, you know. That's it's got a pretty strong drive, you know. Next day he gets up. When he goes back for lunch, he sees that the rooster had not only mated with all the hens again, but was now getting into the ducks and the geese. He's like, man, I may have gotten more than I bargained for with this rooster. This guy is like, this thing seems to have a problem, you know. So he goes to work. He comes back a little bit later, and he sees the rooster just like laying on the ground. You know, it looks half dead. There's vultures circling overhead. You know, he's just laying there with his tongue hanging out. And he's like, well, looks like you got what you deserved, you horny son of a gun. And then the rooster opens one eye, and he's like, shh, they're about to land. I love that joke. I wish I could hear you guys laughing when I tell the joke, because it kind of sucks when you tell a joke and then it's just silent. Ground beef, yeah. My son told me that one. That's a good one. Okay. So, the barley is planted. Let's wash these guys off. And then we'll run the weeder over the field. We'll do that with the 9RT, since that's a direct attach implement. Courseplay will get all discombobulated if you try to do that on a vehicle like this one. Don't forget to check. Oh yeah, the grass, right? Yeah, thank you. I will check that. Okay. And usually I just do repair when we're at around 90% or lower, so I'll just put the plow away. I'm not going to bother washing or repairing it at this point. Another good one. I'm gonna have to save a log of the chat. There's a lot of good dad jokes in here. My son will appreciate these. Is this gonna fit? Okay. That thing barely fits through the door. Right. So if you look at the field, even though you can't see any weeds, you can see in the field info how it says weed growing, and it says weeder. So you go over it with a weeder and it takes care of it. Yeah, we probably need that Lanista. Let's see, can I see a difference in the soil when I do this? No. Okay, so we'll have to do it automatically. Yeah, and then so you can see where the weeder went. No more weeds. Alright, so let's set up a course. Alright. Field position there, target position here. We'll do smooth corners, 2 headlands. Yeah, why not? Okay, looks good. All right, and then we'll save this. That's CP4 weeder. Off you go. Oh, look, it takes out the grass. I don't like that. No me gusta. That's a good one, Lanesta. Alright. Well, I guess it's not unrealistic to have the grass a little bit shorter around the edge of the field. Speaking of grass, let's check on it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, looks like the grass is ready to cut. Alright. Give me 1 second, folks. I'll be right back. Check my speed limits on this vehicle. Alright guys, so it seems that seems like my wife is not going to church today because she pulled a muscle in her back and she's not feeling like going out anywhere. So that means I'm going to have to finish the stream on time today, which is right now. So if she was out, I would keep going, but we gotta get back to the family stuff. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure she will. It's nothing real serious, but she's hurting a little bit, so yeah. So we'll put some Bengay on there or whatever. Nice massage, and I'm sure she'll be okay pretty soon. So, but anyway, for all of those of you who are new to the stream, I appreciate you stopping by today, and I hope to see you again next time. I'll be doing this again on Wednesday evening, if not sooner, depending on how my schedule goes. I try to squeeze in an extra stream now and then, but normally I stream Wednesday evening and Sunday morning. So so at the latest, I'll see you on Wednesday, and until then, hope you all have a great day and a great week. Thanks, everybody. Take care.